Your hand jerks back from a hot stove before you even register the heat. Your foot slams the brake before you consciously see the car ahead. Your heart is already pounding before your brain has finished the sentence, "Wait, is that a spider?" Something in you moves first. It decides first. And only afterward does the rest of you catch up, breathless, asking what just happened. That gap is not a glitch. It is the oldest survival system you own. Here is the strange part. The part of your
This simple
brain that
doodle shows
panics
how our
is not
brain
the part
works.
that thinks.
The red side
It never
panics,
learned
and the blue
language.
side
It
thinks.
cannot read a warning label or reason through a risk. It only knows one thing, threat or no threat. And for most of human history, that single blunt instinct was the difference between walking home and never walking again.
The stick figure stands
So
frozen,
what is actually
mid-step
happening
tall
in that
grass.
split second before fear becomes a thought?
This
Deep
is
in
the
your
split
skull
second,
sits
a tiny
small
sliver of time.
almond-shaped cluster
It's
of
the moment
neurons
between
called
moments.
the amygdala.
This is the amygdala, a
Almond-shaped,
key part of the
which is
brain for emotions
exactly
and
where
memory.
its name
It helps
comes
us
from.
process fear and emotional
Neuroscientist
responses.
Joseph
The amygdala
Ledoux
is
spent
key for
decades
emotions like
mapping how
fear.
this structure
Joseph
works,
Ledoux' work
and
shows
what
it
he
acts
found
fast
rewired how we
before the
understand
cortex.
fear itself. Your eyes and ears do not send danger signals straight to your thinking brain first. They send a copy straight to the amygdala. Ledoux called this the low road, a shortcut that skips conscious analysis entirely. A slower path, the high road, does eventually reach your thinking cortex where you actually recognize what you saw.
The stick figure
But
has a
by then,
spark
your
of an
amygdala
idea.
has already
In its thought
sounded the
bubble, a shape
alarm.
is forming.
Your heart
It's a
rate
rock.
has already spiked. Your muscles are already loaded and ready to move. You do not decide to be afraid. You are afraid first, and the deciding comes later. Think about how strange that really is. In almost every other part of your life, you assume you are in charge. You choose what to eat. You choose what to say. You choose, or at least believe you choose, how to react to the world around you. But in the exact
The stick
moments
figure
when the
remains
stakes
rigid
are
as
highest,
anxiety
when
looms
something
nearby.
might genuinely be
The sweat drop
dangerous,
shows the
that
figure's
sense of
ongoing
choice
distress.
quietly disappears. Something older than you takes the wheel first and asks permission later if it asks at all. Why would evolution build something so trigger-happy? Because in the ancient world, the cost of being wrong was never symmetrical. Imagine a rustle in tall grass. It could be wind. It could be a leopard. If you freeze and it was only wind, you lose nothing. If you assume it is wind and it was a leopard, you lose everything. Your ancestors who hesitated to check, who wanted more evidence before reacting, simply were not around long enough to pass that hesitation on. The nervous ones survived. The calm ones sometimes did not.
This is the smoke
This
detector
is
principle.
what evolutionary
It alerts you to
psychiatrist
danger before
Randolph
it's too
Ness
late.
calls the smoke detector principle. A smoke detector that only ever screams during real fires is actually a badly designed smoke detector. It is too slow, too cautious, tuned for accuracy instead of speed. A good smoke detector goes off too often on purpose, because a false alarm costs you a few seconds of annoyance, while a missed fire costs you your life. Your fear response is built on exactly that same logic. It would rather embarrass you 100 times than fail to warn you once. That is why you flinch at a garden hose coiled like a snake. That is why a shadow at the edge of a parking lot can spike your pulse before you even register what you are looking at. Your body is not being irrational. It is running code that was optimized for a world with far more teeth in it than the one you live in now. Consider what that ancient world actually demanded of your ancestors, day after day, for roughly 200,000 years. No walls that could not be climbed. No locks. No streetlights. Every walk to find water was a walk through territory that something else also claimed. A rustle behind you might be a troop mate. It might be a predator that had been stalking you since sunrise, patient enough to wait for exactly this moment when you were tired, distracted, alone. Under those conditions, a nervous system that reacted instantly and asked questions later was not paranoid. It was simply accurate to the world it lived in. The humans who are your direct ancestors, every single one of them without exception, survived long enough to reproduce partly because their bodies refused to wait for certainty before reacting to a possible threat. But here is where it gets stranger. Not all fears are learned equally fast, and that difference reveals just how deep this ancient wiring goes.
Here we compare a human and a
Psychologists Arne
monkey. The
Ertman
arrow
and
shows the
Susan
omen-minute
Meinke
concept.
ran a now
It's key
famous
to
set of
understanding fear
experiments
learning.
comparing how quickly humans and primates learn to fear different objects. Show people images of snakes or spiders paired with something unpleasant, and the fear sticks almost instantly,
A
sometimes
stick
after a
figure looks
single
curiously
exposure.
at these icons.
Show
The
them
gun, the knife,
images of
electrical outlet.
guns or knives
What do they have in
or
common?
electrical outlets, paired with the exact same unpleasant stimulus, and the fear takes far longer to form if it forms at all. Yet statistically, in the world you actually live in, cars and electrical sockets are far more dangerous than snakes will ever be. Your brain does not update its fear list based on modern statistics. It updates based on ancient priorities. It is still braced for a world of venom and claws, not a world of traffic and wiring. Later researchers pushed this even further, testing infants who had never had a single
Here we
bad
see a crib
experience
with a
either
snake and a
snakes
flower
or
inside.
flowers.
What do you think they represent?
Even very young children orient toward images of snakes faster than they orient toward neutral objects, long before language, long before anyone could have taught them to be afraid. That is not a lesson passed down by a worried parent. That is a template already sitting in the wiring, waiting for the world to confirm it. So your amygdala is, in a sense, running on outdated software. Brilliant software for the savannah. Frequently mismatched for a cubicle, a group chat, or a crowded elevator. Because that is the twist. This same ancient alarm system that once fired for lions now fires for things that were never trying to kill you at all. A tense email from your boss. A silence after you send a text. Standing up to speak in front of a room full of strangers. None of these can physically hurt you, and yet your amygdala treats
The
them with
amygdala triggers the same urgent
urgency it
response in
once
everyone.
reserved for a
This is
predator
the same
crouched in
urgency
the
we all
grass.
feel in a crisis.
Your palms
Predator
sweat,
crouches low and
your chest tightens.
This ambush
Your
strategy
mind
helps
goes
it catch prey
blank
by
because
surprise.
blood is being redirected away from careful thought and toward your muscles, preparing you to run from a threat that is not actually chasing
Preparing to
you.
run. Blood flow
Notice what your
redirects
body
from the
actually
brain to
does
the leg
during that
muscles.
moment. Your heart rate climbs, pushing oxygen toward muscles that are not going to be used. Your digestion slows because there is no evolutionary reason to spend energy breaking down lunch while a predator might be closing in. Your peripheral vision can even narrow slightly. A phenomenon
Tunnel vision is when your
sometimes
focus
called
narrows,
tunnel
like
vision.
looking through a tunnel.
Useful
You
when
see
you
the
need
center
to focus
clearly, but the edges
everything on a
fade into
single
darkness.
charging threat. Less useful when you are simply trying to answer a question in a meeting. None of these responses were designed with meetings in mind. They were designed for a world where the only two outcomes of a genuine threat were survive or do not, and every ounce of energy needed to go toward the first option. Neuroendocrinologist Robert Sapolsky
This is
spent
the work
years
of Robert
studying this
Sapolsky.
mismatch in
He
his
studied
research on
baboons in the
stress
wild.
physiology.
Let's explore
Much
his
of it built
findings.
on long-term observation of wild baboon troops. Sapolsky's core finding was almost
This
darkly
light bulb
funny
represents
once
that
you
aha
sit with
moment
it.
of sudden
A
understanding.
zebra's
It's
stress
that flash of
response
insight we
switches
all
off the
experience.
moment the lion is gone. It grazes again within minutes, as if nothing happened, because for a zebra, nothing is happening anymore. Humans are different. We can trigger the exact same biological alarm just by replaying an argument in our heads at 2 in the morning, lion nowhere in sight. Your body cannot tell the difference between a real predator and a remembered one.
A predator
The stress
triggers a fear
hormones flood your
response.
system
The brain's
either
fear
way.
center glows red.
This is
A
why
memory of the
modern
predator does the
anxiety
same.
so often feels
Stress
physical
hormones flood the
before it
body
feels
either way,
psychological.
through external triggers
The
or
racing
internal
heart,
responses.
the shallow breath,
Anxiety can make your
the
heart
urge to either
race,
fight, flee,
and your
or
mind
freeze
can feel tangled
completely,
and confused.
even when the danger is only a thought.
Fight, flee,
And the zebra never has to unlearn
freeze.
anything, because its body never mistakes memory for danger in the first place. Yours does constantly. You can lie perfectly still
Yours
in
does
bed,
constantly.
muscles tense,
Your body
jaw
holds this
clenched,
tension
heart
even when you're
hammering,
lying down.
replaying a conversation
Constantly,
that ended
lying
hours
awake,
ago.
replaying that
And your
tiny
amygdala
argument.
will
It spirals in your
respond as
mind,
if that
stealing hours of sleep.
conversation is
A
happening
cycle that's
again
hard to
right
break.
now in the
The
room
amygdala
with
stores
you.
emotional memories,
It
like this
cannot tell
argument.
time.
When triggered, it
cannot
replays the
tell
scene, causing
difference between
distress.
a memory and a threat standing in front of you. It only knows that something registered as
The
dangerous.
brain struggles to tell a memory from a
Dangerous
real threat.
things get the
This
same
confusion can lead to
emergency
anxiety over
response
past
no matter
experiences.
when they occurred. This is also why chronic modern stress does something that acute ancient danger rarely did. A burst of fear on the savannah was almost always followed by resolution.
Our ancestor
You
confronts the
escaped,
predator.
or you did
The
not,
threat fades.
and either way, the
Resolution
alarm
is achieved.
eventually turned off. A notification, a deadline, a strained relationship. None of these resolve the way a fleeing predator does. The threat lingers in your imagination long after any real danger has passed, which means the alarm system built for short, sharp bursts of adrenaline is instead left running for hours, sometimes for years. Which
That
brings
gap,
you back to
it
that
represents
gap,
the separation
the
between
one
2
between
points.
your hand
A simple
flinching and
distance,
your
easily
mind
visualized.
catching up. That gap is not a flaw in your design. It is a feature copied down through hundreds of thousands of years, refined by every ancestor who reacted a half-second faster than the threat could reach them. Every time your pulse spikes at a shadow that turns out to be nothing, you are witnessing a system doing exactly what it evolved to do, protecting a version of you that no longer exists in a world that has mostly stopped needing it. Your body still panics before your mind does, not because something is wrong with you, but because for nearly all of human history, that panic was the only thing standing between your ancestors and the dark. And somewhere back there, in the tall grass, in the rustle that might have been wind or might have been teeth, that panic was right just often enough to still be sitting inside you today, waiting quietly for the next rustle in the grass.